Ketchup. It is the king of condiments. Found in 97% of American households, it is the perfect balance of the 5 fundamental tastes: sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and the elusive umami. But the substance inside that iconic bottle is not just crushed tomatoes. It is a scientifically engineered, non-Newtonian fluid designed to defy gravity. The journey of ketchup begins in the sun-drenched Central Valley of California, which produces nearly 95% of America's processed tomatoes. But these are not the tomatoes you buy in the produce aisle for your salad. Those are fresh market tomatoes, delicate, juicy, and thin-skinned. If you tried to put those through a factory, they would turn into mush before they even reached the washer. The ketchup industry relies on a genetically specialized variety known as the processing tomato. These fruits are a triumph of agricultural breeding. They are smaller, oblong, plum-shaped, and possess an incredibly thick skin and a meaty interior with very little water. They are bred to be tough. They must withstand the violence of mechanical harvesting and transport without cracking. Most importantly, they are bred for high pectin content, the natural fiber that gives ketchup its thickness. The harvest is a race against the sun. Tomatoes must be picked at the moment of peak redness to ensure the final sauce has that vibrant color without artificial dyes. Massive mechanical harvesters roam the fields. These machines cut the entire vine, shake the tomatoes off, and discard the plant material in seconds. Sensors on the harvester sort the red tomatoes from the green ones, leaving the unripe fruit in the field. The red tomatoes are loaded into massive gondola trailers, each holding 25 tons of fruit. From this moment, the clock is ticking. Once picked, tomatoes begin to degrade immediately. They must be processed within hours. Upon arrival at the processing plant, the tomatoes are not dumped onto a hard floor. They are unloaded into a flume system. This is a network of water canals that act as a highway for the fruit. The water cushions the tomatoes, preventing impact damage, while simultaneously washing away the field dirt and pesticides. As they float towards the factory, they pass through a series of color sorters. High-speed cameras analyze every single tomato. If a tomato is yellow, green, or has a black mold spot, a pneumatic ejector shoots it out of the stream with a blast of air. Only the perfect deep red fruit enters the grinder. Now comes the most critical scientific decision in the ketchup-making process: the break. The tomatoes are crushed into a pulp, but as soon as the skin is broken, natural enzymes, pectinase, inside the tomato are released. These enzymes immediately start attacking and breaking down the pectin chains that hold the tomato cells together. If these enzymes are allowed to work, the ketchup will be thin and watery. If they are stopped, the ketchup will be thick and rich. Factories use two different methods depending on the desired product. The first is the cold break. The tomatoes are crushed at temperatures below 150 degrees Fahrenheit. This allows the enzymes to remain active for a short time, breaking down the pectin. This results in a thinner juice with a fresher, more natural tomato flavor, ideal for tomato juice or light sauces. But for ketchup, thickness is everything. So the factory uses the hot break method. The tomatoes are crushed and immediately heated to over 200 degrees Fahrenheit in a matter of seconds. This intense, rapid heat destroys the pectinase enzymes instantly before they can break down the cell walls. This preserves the pectin, creating an incredibly thick, viscous pulp. This hot break pulp is the secret to why ketchup sits high on a burger instead of soaking into the bun. The pulp is then pushed through finishers, massive sieves that remove the skins and seeds, leaving behind a smooth, thick liquid known as tomato paste. This paste is the canvas upon which the flavor of ketchup will be painted. The tomato paste is pumped into massive stainless steel cooking kettles. Now it is time to turn tomatoes into ketchup. The recipe is a careful balance of chemistry. First, sweeteners are added, usually high fructose corn syrup or liquid sugar. Sugar does more than sweeten, it balances the high acidity of the tomatoes. Then comes the vinegar. This is the preservative. A high concentration of vinegar lowers the pH of the sauce, making it impossible for bacteria to survive. This is why you can leave a bottle of ketchup on a diner table for weeks without it spoiling. Then the secret spice blend. While every brand has a proprietary recipe, the classic flavor profile includes onions, garlic, cloves, cinnamon, and cayenne pepper. Some factories use essential oils of these spices to ensure a consistent flavor that doesn't change with the quality of raw ingredients. The mixture is boiled. This cooking process marries the flavors and crucially evaporates excess water. The factory aims for a specific solids content. The sauce must be thick enough to flow slowly, but liquid enough to pour. Before bottling, the ketchup undergoes a process called homogenization. The sauce is forced through a tiny nozzle at extreme pressure. This pulverizes the fibrous tomato particles into microscopic size and disperses the oil and water evenly. This ensures the ketchup is smooth and glossy, with a texture like velvet. Now we must talk about physics. Ketchup is a non-Newtonian fluid. Specifically, it is a shear thinning liquid. In a resting state, The polymer chains of the pectin tangle together, making the sauce act like a solid. It won't pour. But if you apply force or shear stress by shaking the bottle or tapping the 57 logo on the neck, the chains align and slide past each other. The viscosity drops and the sauce flows like a liquid. As soon as the force stops, when it hits your plate, the viscosity returns and it piles up like a solid again. This unique physical property is what makes ketchup ketchup. To test this, samples are taken to the lab for the Bostwick consistometer. A specific amount of ketchup is placed in a trough. A gate is opened, and scientists measure how far the sauce flows in 30 seconds. If it flows too fast, it's rejected as too watery. If it flows too slow, it's too thick. The standard speed of Heinz ketchup is famously 0.028 miles per hour. The finished hot ketchup moves to the bottling line. Whether it is the iconic glass bottle or the modern squeezable plastic PET bottle, the filling happens at high temperatures. Filling at 190 degrees Fahrenheit ensures that the bottle is sterilized by the sauce itself. The bottles are capped immediately. As the hot ketchup cools, it contracts, creating a vacuum seal that pulls the safety button on the cap down. The bottles then pass through a cooling tunnel where water sprays bring the temperature down to prevent the ketchup from cooking further in the bottle, which would darken the red color. Finally, the labels are applied, and lasers etch the expiration date. The bottles are boxed and palletized by robots. From a genetically engineered hard-skinned fruit in a California field to a hot break enzyme destruction and a lesson in fluid dynamics, the manufacturing of ketchup is a complex industrial ballet. It transforms a seasonal, perishable vegetable into a shelf-stable global condiment that delivers the exact same taste, color, and viscosity every single time you open the bottle. It is the science of the sauce.